So let's try to decrease that just a little bit, see what it sounds like. I love that. Let's check out the saturation. Baby, stick with me, you'll be amazed. Beautiful. Soundtoys EchoBoy. Is it powerful or is it poop? Industry standard, or can you now find alternatives? I'm Mixed by 8i from mixedby8i.vision. Yes, that is a real website. And today we're going to find out if it's a deal or a ditch. Okay, so in today's deal or ditch, we are looking to try to see if the EchoBoy or even the EchoBoy Jr. is a steal or one of the best plugins out there. Or we are wondering, is it hype? I know you know by this point that the EchoBoy Jr. is a staple, one of the industry standards, and that's fine. But you know, my goal is to try to get you to see if it is worth it for you, or could you do something a little bit better? Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with what we're trying to emulate, and I bounced out the stems of a delay song here, and what we're looking for is to try to emulate that delay as close as possible and try to even get it better if we can. So here's the vocal that we're trying to emulate, or here's the vocal without everything, and then we're just going to bring in the delays, and then we're going to try to play with the EchoBoy, see if we can get it a lot closer. Check this out. And I know you got a man, but he ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days. Well, baby, stick with me, you'll be amazed. Okay, so that's without it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on what I rendered out with the delays. And I think I just used a Waves H delay with a couple of tweaks. And we're just gonna hear the delay to see what we can try to emulate. Okay, let's check it out. And I know you got a man, but he ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days. Well, baby, stick with me, you'll be amazed. So, as you can hear, we got a little bit of a throw delay. Well, we have two separate throw delays. The first one up here is more of a half note, maybe quarter note, depending on the tempo. And then we have a faster throw delay that's kind of happening as we get more into the hook. We don't want that slower delay. We want it to kind of fill out. So my intentions for this was to give it a slow throw delay at first and kind of spread it out to where it sounded like an effect, just to give it a sense of space and, you know, like I said, give it an effect. But also, once all those elements of the hook came in, I wanted to kind of give it a sense of, I don't know, like an ethereal sound. So we added more of a faster delay with the intention of we're going to spread it out. So my goal is to see if the EchoBoy can do that. So let's check it out. We're going to add the delay as a send effect. We're going to throw on the EchoBoy first, and then we'll try the EchoBoy Jr. Maybe for the throw delay, the faster throw delay. And so this is the EchoBoy. And one other thing that I'm going to do before we even get started in the features is we're going to turn this wet up 100%. And the reason why, like I said, is because we're creating an aux track. So this is in parallel to the original track. And so we want 100% on the track itself. Otherwise, if we had this on the track itself, we would have to mix this in. So either or works. I just personally prefer to have an aux track. That way we can do a lot more with just the delay and it's not affecting the track itself. So let's check this out. Like I said, we're gonna start with maybe a quarter note, see how that sounds. So it looks like it's going to be a half note. And let's start with where we have our first throw delay. Right off the rip, the EchoBoy starts wide. We're just going to increase the feedback just a little bit, and it's a half note, so I don't want too much of that feedback. And then I will want to do the telephone effect. So that's what I'm hearing right off the rip, is to create the telephone effect. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. My thing when I'm trying out plugins is to push everything to the limit, see what makes this plugin tick. In theory, if we exaggerate the effect, we can know how much to add or take away. So I like to do everything with just aggressiveness when I'm first trying out a plugin. So you'll notice I'm going heavy on everything just so I can kind of really hear how this plugin works, and then we'll back off and try to get the results that we need. So check it out. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. What's this tweet button? Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Okay, so we have the width button down here, and like I said, I don't know if I really like that width, so I'm just gonna turn this down, maybe make it mono. Let's see how that sounds. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Already, I kind of like that mono effect. We can push it out just a little bit, and right about there would be fine. He don't even call you every day. Let's see. I'm also going to add a little bit of saturation. Maybe it sounds too thin. Let's just play with this, see what we can find. Let's check out the saturation. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man. He's done on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. I really like that. So let's play with the shuffle a little bit. Let's see what that does. He don't even call you every day. Okay, so it looks like the groove section, it kind of rushes when you go. So I have this on a half note, and it looks like you can change the groove, you know, hence groove, but you can change how fast or how slow that delay comes in, it looks like. And so this shuffle looks like it's kind of like on the grid or coming in a little bit faster. So let's try swing. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Okay, so I'm kind of liking when we pushed it back a little bit, it kind of took it off the grid a little bit, gave it a little bit more of a humanistic approach. I really like that. Let's try this feel section. Let's see what that does. Let's try to rush it, and then we're going to try to drag it. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. So yeah, the feel section feels a little bit more to me like if we were playing with the milliseconds as opposed to the groove. I think the groove is really just its own thing. But that feel kind of sounds more like what we would do around it kind of feels like a more finer adjustment of milliseconds. And so as opposed to the groove, which is more of, you know, we're going full before the half note, or we're going full after the half note. That Russian and that dragon is kind of amazing. You can really get some interesting tempos out of that. I don't know what this accent button does. We'll try that. Know me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she So I don't know what that accent button does, but you know, so we'll leave it. And that's it for the tweak section. I just so happened to press that button and it popped up with new features. Let's look at styles. Okay, so we have a couple of different styles. I do know that the EchoBoy has tons of different emulations that you can play with. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to glide through these styles so you can really hear how it sounds, and we'll maybe loop it a little bit so we won't have to keep pressing stop and start. Let's hear how they sound. So we start with studio tape. Let's try master tape. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Okay, so let's try the digital delay. He ain't got nothing on me. That analog delay sounding fire. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. That one sounds really good. So I'm just gonna stop right there. If you want to try this plugin, you do get 30 days and you can go through the different ones. Let's try this diffused and verb. He ain't got nothing on me. So that sounds crazy. He ain't got nothing on me. That's cool. I really like this distorted for this particular song. It kind of pushes it in the background, which you see I had to increase the output a lot. Yeah, I like that distorted sound. He ain't got nothing on me. Okay, so another thing we can do is go to style edit and just really dial in what we want now that we pick the style. Which, by the way, studio tape sounded amazing too. The default studio tape is amazing. So but there's some things that I want to kind of tweak. Let's try around the low EQ, and I just want to take out some of that low EQ. So we have the frequency, we have the gain, and I'm not sure what this delay does, but let's decrease this EQ, see what that sounds like, this low frequency. He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. So that setting right there just kind of really marries the delay to the track, is what it sounds like to me. I could decrease this saturation a little bit because it is distorted and it is saturating it by a lot here. But you do have the EQ section. If you hit style edit, you do have that. What I would normally do is create a reverb track, aux track, and create a delay track and just route delay to the reverb. So the delay has reverb on it. And, you know, this just kind of eliminates a step. So let's see if it's even worth it. Let's check it out. Ain't got nothing on me. So first off, it looks like you have to choose your size and then you have to choose the amount. Yeah, we'll start with 50 and let's try to increase the amount. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you. So you hear that tail? That tail has reverb added to the delay, as opposed to we're adding, you know, reverb to the track, the vocal track itself. So it kind of gives you an interesting effect. What I do notice is that it looks like we have to increase the width now that we're adding sort of that reverb, because it kind of stays true to the width that I'm adding when we first started. So I went back to tweak, and we're just gonna increase that width a little bit. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. So right there sounds a little bit wonderful to me. We can decrease this size a little bit. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Listen to that. That just sounds amazing, right? And so we'll stick with the random walk because that does sound good. We'll just increase this all the way to 1200. See how that sounds. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Okay, so that depth kind of did something crazy around 1200, which makes me think that the 1200 means that we're now increasing it by an octave. As you can hear, playing around with this, you can get some really cool and interesting and very unique delay effects. You're not just limited to just a standard delay, because that sounds boring. Why not, you know, make it sound crazy? You know, if you can, if the situation calls for it. So it looks like your creativity is not limited when it comes to this plugin. I do hear that I can do a lot more with it. And so that sounds good to me. I am going to turn this down a little bit, just kind of keep it standard. But I do like that distorted effect. And what I'll do is I'll create an automation so that it comes in at certain points. We'll mute it and only have it come in at certain points. Where that me is, we'll increase that. So we're only going to affect, you know, certain parts. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave. Okay, so I've got it set to every end of that phrase. We're only accenting those parts. Let's check it out. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. So to me, it kind of has like this ducking effect. What I'm doing now is I have this low cut all the way set to max and the high cut set all the way to max. And I was looking for more of a telephone effect, but to me, it doesn't cut out as much as I would like it to. And so I'm just going to take an extra filter. We're just using the stock Pro Tools EQ, and we're just going to take out a lot more of that and kind of get away with a little bit more lows if we can. I like where it's at, but just to be safe, let's take out a little bit more around that 120 hertz, and we'll go up if we need to, but let's check that out. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say she wanna leave, but it kind of has like a ducking effect to me, and that sounds really nice. Ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page. Girl, I know you tired of the charade. Say ain't got nothing on me.
you every day.
You know, so let's compare that to what we have here and see how that sounds.
He ain't got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day. He don't show you love on his page.
Okay, so let's try it
He
here.
got nothing on me. He don't even call you every day.
So if we blend that in, now all of a sudden we have this very exciting delay that was only done with one plugin. The H delay, I love the Waves H delay, but there's a lot more that I would have had to do in order to get this sound that I'm going for. We were able to achieve that within one plugin. Very amazing stuff. So as I said, we're going to move on to the faster delay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy over the EchoBoy. So what I want to do here is, like I said, create a faster, more wider delay, and the reason is because I want that vocal to really stand out at that part. So we'll set this to 1/8, see how that sounds. And what I didn't play with here intentionally is the mode settings. So we have 4 different mode settings. We have the single echo, which is what we used for the slower throw delay. We have what's called dual echo. So what we can do is we can control, instead of one echo, we have 2 separate, essentially, delay plugins combined into one. We can control the left and the right with different EQ settings. And so I have this feedback set. As you can see, it changes the layout just a little bit. And so if we have it both to 1/8 delay, my theory is that if we have it set to both to 1/8, it'll sound kind of like in the middle. You know, of course, with the width and everything, it kind of changes. But now you see in the tweak settings, we have different settings. So in this case, I'm probably going to try to see if we can adjust it via time as opposed to the note. And the reason I say that is because I want these to just kind of be out of slap delay range. So I just kind of want this to be more of an effect. Let's try to play with that and let's see how that sounds.
She wanna leave, but she's scared.
Beautiful. So it's spreading it out. Let's see if we increase it a little bit.
She wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days.
So how does that differ from ping pong? Okay, so the ping pong kind of delays the left and the right a little bit. And finally, we have the rhythm echo, which is basically you can control how that delay repeats. So my mindset is let's try to do the dual echo and sync it to time. And I still want a lot of that high end information in there, but we'll play with it. So I'm going to keep it on studio tape just because we're low on time, but I am going to turn the saturation down. We don't want to add any saturation, but I do like that studio tape setting. So let's check it out.
She wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days. Well, baby, stick with me, you'll be a mess.
So I really like that. I really like that. Just playing around with that 200 millisecond range, beautiful, right? So we'll increase the low cut so we get a little bit of those lows out, a little bit more of those lows out. Like I said, I don't think this really EQs the way that I want it to. You know, we have another plugin to do that. That's EQ. So we'll decrease this feedback a little bit. It is dragging a little bit. But as far as like the settings, we could just keep it like this. The only thing I would change is, like I said, I would decrease this width a little bit because we already have a sense of width going on with the slap delay. So let's try to decrease that just a little bit, see what it sounds like.
She wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair.
I love that. If we blend that in, it'll be married to the beat. It sounds amazing. Let's check out the original TD, the original throw delay around this area, and then we'll check out the newer version.
She wanna leave, but she's scared. She wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, she say
so what I want to do is, so we want to try to emulate this section here.
fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days.
So that looks like a 4th note delay. And we'll go with the dual echo setting because I think that'll sound nice. So what I wanted to do is, instead of playing the notes, let's go with more of the time. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to push this echo 2 back just a little bit, maybe about 50 or 60 milliseconds, just to kind of give it a sense of space. So let's check it out.
She say it's hard to find a good man these days.
Sounds good to me. We're going to decrease that width a lot. And the reason I did dual echo is because, like I said, we can push that back a little bit so it gives a sense of kind of like a back and forth, but it's very subtle as opposed to the ping pong, which is going to delay the left and the right channel from my understanding. So I like it where it's at. I would decrease this a little bit more. The only other thing I would do, like I said, when we did diffusion, I would add a little bit of that just to kind of bring in that sound. And we'll increase the feedback. See, it kind of gives like a moving effect. And I really like that. To keep with consistency, we'll bring over the same settings from the EQ that we did on the first row delay. And we're just gonna automate that. See where we have it at. Okay.
Say she wanna leave, but she's scared.
Let's try the scared right there. And let's try the fair right there. I may need to push this because we may be getting extra vocals.
But she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days. Well, baby, stick with me, you'll be a man.
Okay, so we got this.
Like she wanna leave, but she's scared.
And I would just increase this a little bit, the output. And now that I can hear it in context with the mix, let's go ahead and increase the width just a little bit more.
Like she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good. Like she wanna leave, but she's scared. Girl, the way he treat you, it ain't fair. She say it's hard to find a good man these days. Well, baby, stick with me, you'll be a mess.
Beautiful. So what I found that it's doing, it is really accenting that slap delay. And we can kind of decrease it just a little bit. It may be a little bit too loud at this point. It really accents, when it comes in, it really accents that slap delay. And I love that so much, okay? Because we do have the slap delay routed to the same hook bus. And so when it comes in, we're also getting that same delay that we're adding to the lead vocal. So it's really adding this width to it that's just amazing from what I can hear. So with that said, that's going to wrap up the EchoBoy. Meet me on the other side of the screen for the Emmy. All right, now we're ready for the Emmy. So what is the Emmy scale? I rate plugins in 4 different categories. Is it intuitive? Is it innovative? Does it motivate you to create? And does it inspire you? Each category is on a scale of 1 to 5. And so let's talk about how the EchoBoy works. As far as being an intuitive plugin, I found this plugin to be highly intuitive. Everything is right there, easy to find, easy to tweak. There's no complex terms for you to have to look up. The plugin starts with beginner settings that you can use, but you can press knobs to get more advanced settings. And even those aren't highly advanced. You can start right out of the gate with some really great sound. And then if you so choose, EchoBoy gives you full range flexibility to control your delay. 10 to 15 minutes with this plugin and you feel like you've used it your entire life. So as far as intuitive, I'd give this a solid 5. Is it innovative? I do believe at the time when Soundtoys first came out, they were one of the first to do what they were doing as far as what you could do with sound. And I just think that while there are now plugins that do what EchoBoy does, I do think that EchoBoy still holds a staple in music production and even when you're mixing. As far as innovative, I will give this a 4. Is it motivating? Yeah, I think that the EchoBoy is highly motivating. It does give you features that are worth the money. So it gets a 5 from me on that scale. And last but not least, does it inspire you to create? Definitely yes. As you know, when I was listening to this plugin, I could really hear how I could tweak and use this plugin to be more creative in my music production, even my vocal production. So it definitely gets a 5 from me on that scale. So we have a plugin that has an Emmy of 19 out of 20. What's the final verdict? This plugin sounds really great out of the gate. You can go from creating very simple delays to creating very complex and unique sounds. It really inspires your creativity and keeps it simple and keeps it from being overly complicated. I will say though, I don't like the low and the high filters. I don't think they cut as much as I would like to, but if you throw it on the aux track, you can use an additional EQ to fix that problem. So I don't think that that's a major problem for me. As far as the price, I wouldn't mind paying $200, but I will say that every now and then Soundtoys has a sale. You could literally buy the EchoBoy for around $50 to $60. The lowest I've seen it is at $50. So when it goes on sale for that $50, $60, I would say grab it. The biggest thing for me when it comes to a plugin is how does it integrate into my workflow? I like to use a very efficient workflow, and so when it comes to this plugin, it has a lot of features that would take me quite a few plugins to achieve, all in this one plugin. And what's even better, it sounds great or even better than what I would normally do. So we'll conclude with Soundtoys EchoBoy. Is it a deal or is it a ditch? Definitely a deal. Make sure you guys grab it when it's on sale. And that's been another episode of Deal or Ditch. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I have new deal or ditches coming out every week, testing out new plugins, trying out new programs and utility softwares and utility tools. Get in the comment box below if you would like me to review a certain tool or a certain plugin. Once again, I've been mixed by 8i. You've been great. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.